The plasma blade hums its deadly song through Qui-Gon's torso, but fate intervenes with the thundering boots of Naboo's security forces. Captain Panaka had dispatched medical teams the moment the Jedi entered the generator complex, standard protocol when Jedi engage Sith assassins. Medical droids swarm the scene as Obi-Wan's anguished cries echo through the chamber. The Zabrak assassin had fallen into the reactor shaft, but victory tastes like ash in young Kenobi's mouth. In the sterile confines of Theed Palace's medical wing, Qui-Gon Jinn hovers between worlds. The Bacta tank sustains his body while his consciousness drifts through the cosmic tapestry of the Force. Here, in this liminal space between life and death, the living Force reveals its terrible secrets. Two masked faces blur and merge into his vision. The horned visage of the fallen Zabrak, and another, smoother mask hiding behind senatorial robes. The dark tendrils weave through the Republic's heart, a web of shadows with its spinner sitting at the very center of galactic power.
Master, please. I'll keep my promise. I'll train Anakin as you wished. No, my young Padawan. The boy's destiny remains mine to guide. The stubborn fool refuses to die. Miles away in the Senate district, Palpatine's meditation chamber grows cold. His yellow eyes snap open, sensing the cosmic shift. Something has changed in the carefully orchestrated symphony of his grand plan. The Jedi who should be dead clings to life with unusual determination. Through the Force, he feels Qui-Gon's consciousness touching something it shouldn't, seeing patterns that were meant to remain hidden. This unexpected survival threatens decades of careful manipulation. The Dark Lord of the Sith must now adapt his strategy to account for the unwelcome variable. In the medical wing, Qui-Gon's vital signs stabilize against all medical probability, his connection to the living Force sustaining him through sheer will. The Jedi Temple's healing chambers provide little comfort for a restless spirit. 3 weeks have passed since Naboo, and Qui-Gon's body bears terrible scars from his near-death experience. He moves slowly, each step a reminder of how close he came to joining the Force. Yet his mind races with visions that won't fade. He shares his deepest concern only with Obi-Wan, speaking in hushed tones as temple guards pass their door. The darkness he sensed during this near-death experience haunts him, a presence both alien and familiar, radiating from the Senate itself. Master Yoda visits daily, his gimmer stick tapping against the marble floors with rhythmic precision. The ancient master senses disturbance in his former student, but attributes it to trauma. Meanwhile, young Anakin begins his unconventional training under Qui-Gon's tutelage. Where the Council preaches detachment and serenity, Qui-Gon teaches the boy to trust his instincts and embrace his feelings as guides rather than enemies. The boy's raw power astounds even Qui-Gon, but it requires careful nurturing. Clouded by trauma your vision may be. Rest and heal you must, Master Qui-Gon. There's something wrong, Obi-Wan. A presence I've never felt before, yet familiar, like an echo of Maul, but refined, political. Why do the Jedi fear attachment, Master? It seems natural to care. Chancellor Palpatine extends multiple invitations for private meetings with young Skywalker, opportunities to mentor the boy from Tatooine, to share wisdom about governance and leadership. Each request meets Qui-Gon's polite but firm refusal, citing the intensive nature of early Jedi training. Palpatine's public demeanor never wavers, but something cold flickers behind his grandfatherly facade. He begins subtly questioning Qui-Gon's methods in Senate committee meetings, planting seeds of doubt about the wounded Jedi's judgment. The game of shadows has begun, with Anakin as the unwitting prize. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're enjoying this content so far, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing. Imagine what we could accomplish if everyone subscribed. We thank you all for your continued support. The Jedi archives stretch endlessly before Qui-Gon, their blue-white glow reflecting off his weathered features. 6 weeks post-Naboo, he can finally walk without pain, channeling his recovery energy into research. Holocrons containing ancient knowledge float around him as he studies. Jocasta Nu raised an eyebrow at his increasingly esoteric requests. Sith infiltration methods from the Old Republic, political subversion tactics of the Brotherhood of Darkness, accounts of how Darth Bane's order supposedly ended. She's never seen such focused determination in historical research. The patterns emerge like constellations forming in his mind's eye. Every fallen republic, every corrupted democracy, every Sith resurgence, they all share common elements. The Sith never truly died. They evolved their tactics. They traded lightsabers for legislation, armies for influence, open war for shadow manipulation. They learned to hide not in darkness, but in plain sight, wearing the masks of public servants while serving only themselves. The rule of two wasn't about limitation, it was about concentration of power and avoiding detection.
You're suggesting the Sith have returned and stand in the Senate itself? That's not speculation, Qui-Gon, that's paranoia. The living force doesn't lie, Mace. The patterns are clear for those willing to see them. In the Temple's training grounds, Anakin finds himself caught between worlds. Qui-Gon's teachings about the living force resonate with his heart, matching his natural instincts. But during chance encounters in the Senate, Chancellor Palpatine offers different wisdom. Practical, political, speaking to the boy's desire to fix things, to have power to help others. The Chancellor's words are honey sweet, with conversation carefully crafted to plant doubt about the Jedi way without seeming to criticize directly. Your master is a great Jedi, young Skywalker, though I wonder if recent trauma hasn't made him overly cautious. The Chancellor's office radiates warmth and welcome, its red walls and artifacts creating an atmosphere of cultured authority. 2 months after Naboo, Palpatine finally secures his meeting with the recovered Jedi Master. Qui-Gon enters warily, his force senses immediately assaulted by an underlying wrongness in the room. Palpatine sits behind his expansive desk, fingers steepled in contemplation, that perpetual smile playing at his lips like a predator's satisfaction. The conversation that follows resembles a lightsaber duel fought with words. Every sentence from Palpatine carries hidden weight, probing for weakness, testing whether Qui-Gon's near-death experience revealed anything dangerous. He speaks of recovery, of trauma's lasting effects, of how the mind can play tricks after severe injury. His tone remains grandfatherly, concerned, but underneath flows a current of assessment. Qui-Gon parries each verbal thrust with careful responses, neither confirming nor denying his suspicions, maintaining the facade of recovering Jedi grateful for the Chancellor's concern. Some senators worry the Jedi Order has become too independent, too willing to act on instinct rather than evidence. And some Jedi worry the Senate has become too comfortable with shadows, Chancellor. Shadows, Master Jinn. In my experience, shadows only exist where light fails to reach. The meeting concludes with polite farewells, but both men understand that battle lines have been drawn. As Qui-Gon leaves, the darkness he sensed during meditation presses against his consciousness like a physical weight. The aura surrounding Palpatine matches his visions perfectly, not just similar to the Sith presence he felt, but identical. Yet knowing and proving are vastly different battles. In the Temple Gardens, Obi-Wan waits anxiously for his former master's report. Qui-Gon's expression tells him everything before words are spoken. They must prepare to challenge not just the Order's faith in the Republic, but the very foundations of galactic governance. The Council Chamber's panoramic windows frame Coruscant's endless skyline, ships streaming past like schools of metallic fish. 3 months post-Naboo, Qui-Gon stands before the 12 Masters, his words falling like thermal detonators into their meditation. The chamber's very air seems to thicken with tension as he makes his formal accusation. Not one Master moves, their faces masks of controlled shock. Even the Force itself seems to hold its breath in this moment of revelation. The silence stretches until Yoda's gravelly voice breaks it, aged and weary with the weight of possibility. The Ancient Master's ears droop as he processes the implications. If Qui-Gon is right, the Jedi have failed in their most fundamental duty, protecting the Republic from the Sith. But if he's wrong, acting on his suspicions could shatter the delicate balance of power that maintains galactic peace. Ki-Adi-Mundi presents the logical counter-argument. Political environments naturally breed negative emotions and darkness without requiring Sith involvement. Serious accusation this is. Evidence beyond feelings you have? Destroy the Order's standing, false accusations would. Yet if Qui-Gon is right and we do nothing, we risk everything the Order stands for. You're asking us to investigate the Supreme Chancellor based on visions and intuition. The Senate would see it as treason. The debate rages through the night. Saesee Tiin suggests increased surveillance protocols. Kit Fisto advocates for patience and observation. Even usually silent Coleman Trebor weighs in with concerns. Shaak Ti supports deeper investigation, and even Piel warns of political ramifications. Finally, a compromise emerges. Qui-Gon may investigate quietly, but any action requires unanimous council approval. His movements are restricted, his access to Senate buildings limited, his activities monitored. As the meeting ends, Qui-Gon catches Obi-Wan's eye across the chamber. His former Padawan understands immediately. They'll have to work outside official channels, walking the dangerous line between duty to the Council and duty to the Force. Coruscant's underlevels reek of industrial waste and broken dreams, a stark contrast to the gleaming towers above. 4 months after Naboo, where the planet's forgotten citizens scrape out existence in perpetual twilight, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin track whispers of the Zabrak Assassins' network. They move carefully through crowds of aliens and humans, their Jedi robes hidden beneath common cloaks. The Force guides them through dangerous territories where even Republic security fears to patrol regularly. Their investigation yields disturbing fruit: shipping manifests for weapons that never reached their destinations, communication logs encrypted with Senate authorization codes that shouldn't exist, financial records showing massive transfers from accounts that technically don't exist in any system. The web grows more complex and damning with each discovery. In a derelict warehouse that once stored Republic supplies, they find a Rhodian information broker whose fear of the Jedi barely outweighs his fear of his former employers. The Horned One has friends, high friends, Senate-level friends. They say his master walks those halls even now. Why are we down here, Master? Shouldn't we be investigating in the Senate? Because truth often hides where the powerful don't look, young one. The forgotten see what the privileged ignore. Jedi intelligence takes notice of their findings. Sacy-Tiin and Agent Kolar begin their own parallel investigations, cross-referencing Qui-Gon's discoveries with Senate records and military contracts. The evidence mounts steadily, but remains frustratingly circumstantial, enough to suggest conspiracy, but not enough to prove it. Unknown to them, Palpatine watches through security feeds and force visions, his yellow eyes tracking their every move. He sends an encrypted message to Sereno using channels that will self-destruct. The Jedi grow suspicious. Accelerate our timeline. Deal with your former master. He threatens everything we've built. The spires of Sereno pierce morning fog like accusations through the sky. 5 months post-Naboo, Count Dooku awaits in his ancestral home's manicured garden, aged but still radiating power. Qui-Gon approaches cautiously through the mist. This meeting could be either enlightenment or trap. His former master pours tea with the same practiced elegance he once demonstrated with lightsaber forms. The reunion carries weight beyond their personal history. It's a convergence of opposing philosophies that once shared common ground. Their conversation begins with pleasantries, but quickly evolves into philosophical combat more intense than any physical duel. Dooku speaks of corruption in the Republic, of Jedi blindness to political manipulation, of serving systems that perpetuate suffering. He neither confirms nor denies Sith involvement directly, instead weaving truth with misdirection. His words are carefully chosen to plant seeds of doubt while revealing just enough truth to seem trustworthy. The game they play is deadly serious, each trying to turn the other while protecting their own secrets. The Jedi serve corruption by protecting a corrupted system. The Republic is indeed under Sith influence. The corruption runs deeper than you imagine. And the Sith offer something better? They manipulate you with the same corruption, Master. You've traded one chain for another. Perhaps. Tell me, who truly is the Sith Lord you seek? The one pulling strings, or the one dancing to them? The verbal sparring continues as sun breaks through Sereno's clouds. Dooku drops hints about accelerating political movements, about systems ready to declare independence, about armies being built in secret. He walks the knife's edge between warning his former Padawan and maintaining his own hidden allegiance. When they part, Dooku watches Qui-Gon's transport leave with genuine regret. He's given his former student breadcrumbs leading toward truth, but not enough to prevent what's coming. The die has been cast, and even former affection cannot stop the approaching storm. The Senate buzzes with nervous energy as systems report increased pirate activity and trade route disruptions. 6 months after Naboo, the Military Creation Act gains unprecedented momentum. Padme Amidala arrives at the Jedi Temple with troubling intelligence. Financial irregularities in Trade Federation accounts that trace back through shell companies to senators in Palpatine's inner circle. Her investigation, conducted with the help of loyal Senate guards and ethical bankers, reveals a web of corruption spanning decades. Her datapads spread across the secure room's table like evidence of a disease infecting the Republic's heart. The patterns are clear: money flowing to mercenary groups that later attack Republic interests, creating crises that require military responses, which in turn justify expanded executive powers. Mace Windu reluctantly authorizes a covert investigation into the Chancellor's advisory network, though his expression reveals deep discomfort with the decision. The Council walks on dangerous ground, investigating the very person who supposedly leads their Republic. This goes years back, before Naboo, before everything. Someone has been orchestrating chaos to consolidate power. We're walking on dangerous ground, Qui-Gon. If we're wrong, we destroy the Jedi's relationship with the Republic. Why can't you trust him? The Chancellor is in nothing but help. You're seeing enemies where there are none. Young Skywalker struggles with divided loyalties more each day. His master searches for enemies in the Senate, while Chancellor Palpatine offers nothing but paternal kindness and understanding. During training, Anakin's confusion explodes into anger, a dangerous sign. Qui-Gon pauses their sparring to address the deeper issue. He explains that the dark side rarely announces itself obviously. Instead, it whispers reasonable compromises and necessary evils until evil becomes normalized. The investigation accelerates despite growing resistance. Every lead points toward Palpatine, but like smoke, proof dissipates when grasped directly. The evidence board in the secure temple chamber looks like a conspiracy theorist's masterwork. 7 months post-Naboo, red strings connect senators, corporations, military contracts, and the assassination attempts across the galaxy. At the center, like a spider in its vast web, sits Chancellor Palpatine's image. The accumulated evidence is overwhelming in its implications, yet frustratingly circumstantial in its specifics. Every road of corruption leads back to him, but none provide the smoking blaster needed for action. The Council sits in stunned silence as Qui-Gon presents his findings. Even Master Yoda's ancient composure cracks, his ears drooping with the weight of realization. If true, the entire Order has been deceived for decades, possibly longer. They've protected and served the very evil they swore to oppose. The implications shake the foundation of everything they believed about their role in the Republic, yet without absolute proof, they risk becoming exactly what Palpatine could claim: treasonous insurgents attempting to overthrow legitimate government. If this is true, then blind we have been. Deceived for generations, the entire Order has been. We confront him privately, give him the opportunity to surrender peacefully before this goes public. A Sith Lord surrender? He'll have contingencies, traps within traps. As they debate approach strategies, Palpatine senses the shifting currents in the Force. His meditation breaks with the realization that the Jedi finally know. His contingencies activate across the galaxy. Dooku receives orders to begin separatist operations immediately. The clone army on Kamino accelerates production schedules, and sleeper agents throughout the Republic prepare for activation. The endgame approaches sooner than his grand plan originally intended, but adaptation has always been the Sith's strength. In his office, he prepares for the confrontation he knows is coming, his lightsaber hidden but ready. 5 Jedi Masters enter the Chancellor's office with grim purpose. 8 months after Naboo, the moment of truth arrives. Palpatine doesn't even pretend surprise at their arrival. His yellow eyes already gleam with anticipation. The pretense of democracy dies in this room as ancient enemies face each other across centuries of hidden war. The very air crackles with Force energy as both sides prepare for violence that will reshape the galaxy regardless of outcome. The office explodes into legendary combat. Red guards surge from hidden panels as Palpatine's crimson lightsaber ignites with violent hunger. Qui-Gon meets him blade to blade, green against red, living force against absolute darkness, while chaos erupts around them. Mace and Shaak Ti battle the guards with practiced efficiency, while Yoda uses the Force to seal exits, preventing escape or reinforcement. The battle's intensity shatters windows, disintegrates priceless artifacts, and scorches the very walls with Force lightning. You should have stayed dead on Naboo. Your survival has ruined decades of planning. The Force had other plans, plans that don't include your empire of shadows. Escape he must not. The fate of the Republic this moment decides. The duel reshapes the office into a war zone. Obi-Wan joins the fray, and together Master and former Padawan press the Sith Lord with coordinated attacks. But Sidious has planned even for this seeming defeat. A massive force push sends all 5 Jedi flying as he activates an emergency transport hidden in the floor, escaping through the shattered window via a route practiced 1,000 times in preparation. He's wounded. Mace's blade caught his shoulder, Qui-Gon's burned across his face, but alive. And now, he has exactly what he needs to destroy the Jedi Order forever. The HoloNet explodes with Palpatine's emergency broadcast from an undisclosed location. His scarred face fills billions of screens across known space, the wounds lending credibility to his deception. Within hours of his accusation against the Jedi, the galaxy fractures like stressed transparasteel. Systems that already distrusted the Order's independence join the Separatist cause overnight. Count Dooku emerges as leader of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, no longer hiding his Sith allegiance since the charade has crumbled into open war. The Republic military splits between loyalty to the Senate and trust in the Jedi, creating chaos in the command structure. Some clone units, their programming incomplete, side with their Jedi generals. Others follow Senate directives to arrest all Force users. The Order retreats to hidden enclaves prepared generations ago for such catastrophe, but under Qui-Gon's moral leadership, they unify rather than scatter. His survival has changed not just events, but the very character of the Jedi response to crisis. The Jedi Order, in their arrogance and lust for power, attempted to assassinate your legally elected Chancellor. We knew this day might come. The Sith revealed themselves too early. That's our advantage. We stand together or fall divided. You saved us all, didn't you? By surviving, by pushing, by refusing to stop asking questions. The Jedi Order transforms from peacekeepers to resistance fighters, though they maintain their principles even in war. Qui-Gon's philosophy, that connection and compassion strengthen rather than weaken, becomes the foundation of their new approach. They forge alliances with systems betrayed by Palpatine's deception, building a coalition not of convenient politics, but of shared values. Young Anakin finally understands the full scope of what his master prevented. Without Qui-Gon's persistence, they would have discovered the truth too late, after Palpatine had complete control of both armies and the mechanisms to destroy the Jedi instantly. In a hidden Jedi enclave carved from an asteroid in the Outer Rim, the Order rebuilds with new purpose. 9 months after that fateful day on Naboo, Yoda approaches Qui-Gon in the Meditation Gardens, humility replacing his usual certainty. The Ancient Master admits what younger Jedi have already realized, that tradition and assumption blinded them to threats hiding in plain sight. The prophecy of the Chosen One takes new meaning in this changed galaxy, where balance cannot be achieved through obedience to corrupted institutions, but through truth courageously pursued. Anakin trains under both Qui-Gon and Yoda, learning to balance the living force with the unifying force, passion with peace, attachment with the ability to let go. His path differs radically from any future that might have been. Without Palpatine's poisonous influence and with Qui-Gon's continued guidance, the boy's immense power develops alongside wisdom and emotional maturity. The Jedi Order itself transforms, embracing connection rather than isolation, adapting rather than adhering to rigid tradition. Wrong I was. Your wisdom, follow it we should have. Blinded by tradition, unable to see. If the Sith revealed themselves early, hadn't we already won, Masters? Let them come. Shadows revealed become darkness visible, and in that darkness, the galaxy will drown. In the ruins of the Senate building, Darth Sidious stands before a massive hologram of the galaxy, his body reconstructed with Sith alchemy and cybernetics. He dons a new mask, not to hide, but to terrify. The Clone Wars began not as hidden manipulation, but as open war between light and dark. Fate has been altered, the timeline forever changed by one Jedi's refusal to die. The Force seeks balance through uncharted paths now. In the Enclave, Qui-Gon places a weathered hand on Anakin's shoulder as they watch stars wheel through the viewport, master and apprentice uniting in purpose as destiny reshapes itself around them. If you enjoyed this journey into the shadows of what might have been, remember to hit that subscribe button and join us for more explorations of the infinite possibilities within that galaxy far, far away. May the Force be with you, always.